not that great.
All right, we've officially started recording.
It was
what'd you
first
say?
episode.
What'd you say, Anthony?
Oh yeah. You get crucified on podcast platforms, dude.
Oh yeah.
First
Yeah,
minute,
probably
like
Joe
cancel.
Rogan will find you.
And the first thing ever was, oh yeah, Joe Rogan sucks.
Dude, imagine Joe Rogan just pops out in that background and shit.
Like, all right,
Fuck you, motherfucker.
I'll stick to my words.
I like him. Like as a podcaster, but
As a
I think
podcast,
as,
yeah.
Yeah,
as a-
same.
as a comedian, yeah.
Stand
He's a
up.
little try hard
Okay.
as a comedian to me.
I've seen
Yeah,
a
like-
couple of jokes I like. It like makes fun of the Kardashians in a very funny way.
Yeah, I'd give him like a C plus. Like, you know.
Yeah, for sure. C+
Yeah.
is pretty fair.
That's
I would
fair.
say.
You
Yeah.
notice there's like a pocket of comedians that like all talk and shit and like hang out. Like I think
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's in that. Brian Segura.
Tom Segura, right?
Tom
Tom
Segura.
Segura?
My bad. Sorry.
Fucking
right.
Billy, dude. Shit.
I don't know
Fucking love
shit.
Tom Segura. He's
Brian, I
fucking
think it's
hilarious.
about Brian Callen, right? Brian Callen, Tom Segura.
Yeah, Brian Callen.
Brian
Yeah,
Callen's funny.
I love that dude. He was in Joker. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Nah.
Dude, I
He
still
was-
haven't seen it yet.
He's one of the. He works at the clown thing with that. I won't spoil anything, but let's just say Brian
Oh,
Callen,
that's right.
the Riddler, dude. The perfect Riddler.
Riddler origin story.
I didn't even know they had the Riddler in the Joker.
They
No,
did.
they didn't. They did. I mean,
They're just
shit.
fucking around.
Oh.
He's just fucking around.
Ow.
Sorry, man.
I apologize.
In a way, I just spoiled that there's no Riddler in there. I'm sorry.
You guys want to let Jared
Yeah.
begin this shit?
Yeah.
Oh,
go
yeah.
with
Where's Jared? Everyone look at
Begin to
Jared.
begin.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see you.
Jared's right there for me.
I see Frank.
Really?
Sexy.
It's just Frank on the.
Oh yeah, you
Oh.
can go to like this grid view thing.
Oh yeah. How do you? So.
It could be in the top right corner. Like there's speaker view and then there's grid view, or like something like that. Let's see.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah, gallery view.
Yeah, mine. It just keeps switching from person to person, but it's fine. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Are you on a desktop computer?
Yeah.
On the
There
top?
should be-
No, he's on a Mac.
I'm on Mac. I'm about MacBook.
If
Yeah,
you
there-
hover your cursor on the top right, Jared, you don't see a little thing that says speaker view.
Speaker
Speaker
view
view?
or gallery view.
You gotta hover your thing because it goes away when you're not moving.
Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Do you see everyone now?
I see everyone.
Oh yeah, we're like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look down.
Yeah, no,
I'll
it's
look
like-
down.
Wait.
No, Ivan's
Yeah.
going to the
Look
left.
at Ivan.
Nigel.
Come here, Billy. Come here.
Are you over there?
Yeah.
You right here?
Billy's to my
Yeah.
left.
Oh, so it's different for everybody, huh?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, yeah. Billy's to my
Everybody on the
left, Ivan is
Hey, Billy's to my left.
I'm on your left.
2 grids.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
People are gonna fucking hate us for talking about what side of the fucking.
The whole
Nobody
podcast, like,
gives a
figuring out-
fuck.
All right, thanks for tuning in.
Grandma's breakfast, right?
We've already
Episode 1.
half
You
of
know
our
the
views.
breakfast.
One.
Let's do it, Jared.
All right.
What do you
yes.
got?
You got. Well, so I wanted to talk about songwriting. You all know. But I also know that you, not all of you, are songwriters. So I was thinking, I mean, I still want to talk about it, but since not everybody writes, I
Let's
think
talk about sex, baby. Oh, sorry.
because everybody has their own form of expressing themselves, their own form of art, especially you guys. All you guys are artists in some way, form. So, I mean, I guess we could go through, like, I don't know, just talk about it, and you guys could see, I don't know, like, the differences, similarities between, like, your guys' form of expression. Or I guess I had that idea in mind because I didn't know how many people are going to be a part of this, or so.
Yeah,
But
man.
what I have so far is just that I want to know, like, I personally want to know, like, how, like, you as songwriters, like, I mean, like, you, Ivan, Billy, and like how you guys just go about writing because that's something I'm just been thinking about a lot, because I'm trying to find like different ways and inspirations, and just different, just to put to my music,
Yeah.
So
You want to go first, Billy?
Well, one note. I guess fucking Anthony's over this meeting. He's just dipping out or something.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was looking at too.
Going for a walk.
he's got like a giant bird. I just noticed it.
That's the other thing. You can put your own virtual backgrounds on here too. So like I tried to get my city, but it's kind of fucking weird with like the blinds. But you could do all kinds of weird shit. You could be on the moon, Jared. You could be on the moon.
I'm already on the moon, man.
Straight to the moon.
Boy.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, where do you guys find like inspiration? I mean, obviously your own personal lives. I mean, and I guess emotions.
Yeah. I feel like for myself, like there's just like no definite answer. I know everyone's different, but like I know people can like really get into like, all right, I'm gonna write a song with an intro, verse, chorus, and then out, like, but which I can do too. But like if like I force myself to do it, sometimes I won't be inspired to do it. Like if I find myself more following an idea or a thought, like that's when it just flows out. Yesterday or this morning, I released a song on Instagram, and I wrote it like for a friend's dog, and I found it was like the easiest fucking thing. Yeah, it was the easiest fucking thing to do. Like, because it was like if I write my own shit, like I'm like, oh, it's got to be perfect, it's got to be this, and then it ends up just like getting in the way of itself. But
Yeah.
like there's almost like a freedom to just like, I'm just gonna write this. I'm just gonna say fuck it, whatever I have, that's what's going out there, and then like the song pretty much wrote itself. I was just fucking going along for the ride. So I don't know.
And for the more personal stuff, though, how does that usually like I don't know? Do you feel inspired at certain times more than others, or is it just kind of comes randomly? You know what I mean?
It's like random. Like they say, like for anything creative that you do, it's like the best thing to do is show up. Like if I sit at the piano, like I'm much more likely to have an idea. At least sometimes, like I'm more likely to kind of come up with some shit. But you know, fucking, I'm sure you guys get this too. Like you're driving and just like an idea pops up, or like a thought, and you have to do that shit. Or like, you know, you're in the shower, you're jacking off, and like I'll finish her. So,
That pitch just like sticks with you. Like, yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird thing.
That's how Hua came out, right?
Yeah.
He has a song named Hua.
Oh,
It's kind of like that.
Wow.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
about that song. It's fucking
Yeah.
it's such
Wow.
a bad song.
No, it's a dope song. What do you mean? Oh, you mean like badass? Yeah.
Badass as in like the production of it is so shitty. Like,
Oh, yeah. You can't. It's not bad though. It's not bad.
Yeah. I forgot what it. I think it's Hua standing for Here We Are, and it's like about being a superhero.
Oh, damn! I'm a fucking idiot. I can't believe I didn't put that together.
You fool! No, I mean, it's literally a sound. So
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, for sure.
yeah.
But then you say it later in the song, and then now I know.
Oh, hey, it looks like we're running out of time right now. I might have to.
Wait, what?
Oh, that's weird.
Shit.
Yeah, because there's only a $40 limit, and
I think it's a 40. Wait,
oh, sorry, 40 minutes.
Oh shit! I was like, okay.
Yeah, see it?
And then what happens? We like the meeting ends or what?
Yeah. And we
Yeah,
have
pretty
to-
much.
That's weird because I was on a meeting and we were on that shit for like an hour and a half. But I wonder if there's like a different version like you pay. for
Yeah,
or-
you could upload to Pro. I think if one of us has Pro, then we can do
Yeah,
it.
that's
maybe,
definitely
I'm
what it is
guessing.
then. Okay.
Let's see.
All right.
Well,
Well,
we
we
have
got 10 minutes.
Yeah, we have
All
10
right,
minutes. So
9 minutes.
Damn. All right.
All right. Well, we got Billy's response to that. How about you, Ivan? Like, how do you gotta go about, or what's your sort of creative process when you start?
It's similar, dude. You know, like life experiences. Honestly, though, like sometimes it's like, sometimes for me, it's like it comes out of desperation. Like a lot of my, like, yeah, I have like a quantity of like knowledge that I've like cultivated like throughout my entire life, and I've always been kind of a curious person. So in that respect, like I just take in like information from anywhere and I try to put it in a song form. But lately, honestly, it's been like desperation. Like I really just wanted to be heard.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, like I feel like the urge to like write more and like get better and stuff, you know. I know it sounds like kind of like a, you know, like people say like it's not okay to want like to be, I don't know if like people say it, but like there's like this whole thing about like wanting to just have your voice heard that I think is kind of like looked down on. But honestly, it's kind of like a vain thing that like really does like drive me.
I think it's a
I could see
necessary
why.
thing. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's it.
I think it's like a necessary thing. Like we need to express ourselves, you know. Like we need to let shit out, you know. We can't just keep that shit in. And so it's like, I know what you're talking about. It really is looked down upon, but like if you look at it that way, like just as like I'm saying, like in a form of expression, you know, it's like I think we all need to do that, like as
Yeah.
humans, you know.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I think it's like one of those things where it's like if you don't do it, like what does that feel like when you don't and you feel like shit? You're like at least I feel that way. Like if I'm playing in a lot of cover bands, like I'm just thinking like I don't like this. Like I'd rather have my own voice heard. Like
Yeah.
as like where you're kind of like battling like, oh no, am I being egotistical for putting my own stuff out? Like the alternative, which is feeling like you're not putting out your voice, like I feel like that hurts much more.
I fully
Yeah,
agree,
you're hurting
dude.
Yeah,
yourself.
Fully
You
agree.
know?
that's literally how I feel. So yeah, I can attest to that. But that comes from my own. I think there's like a big want in me to get things out that I have like ideas, because I feel like I get a lot of these musical. I hear things in my head, and then
Yeah.
but my issue is like I don't think I've put myself or put enough time into actually being able to get that out of my head creatively. And also I'm super like analytical of my own self, and especially of like hearing audio things. So if I hear something that that's not like perfect to me, I'm just like, I throw it away, which
Yeah.
I'm trying to get past that, because I think that's what's held me back from that. But I
Dude,
definitely
that's a great quality, dude. Like I think that's the best quality to have in a songwriter is like someone who doesn't think it's good enough, like ever.
yeah.
Like
But then the problem, but if you're over analytical, then it's like it never gets out. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, it's true,
I'm
it's true.
trying to
There's a
like
happy medium.
allow
Yeah.
myself to like suck and be okay with it if it sucks, or just like it if I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of my goal.
Like,
Did I tell you about like what Kevin Parker said? I think I did, right?
Kevin Parker
I
from
forgot.
Tame Impala.
Yeah, he said that like he was doing an interview and they said, so how do you know when a song's supposed to be released? He's like, when someone tells me it's time to release it, because otherwise he'd always be working on it. Like he just keep
Exactly.
working on it, keep working on it. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's how it always is. I mean, at least for me.
Really.
I mean, I don't know. Like maybe that's why I haven't really done anything like legitimate.
Oh shit.
Because like
Gotta talk about that.
I'm constantly working on my stuff. You know.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's ever complete because there's always like new things you find like throughout like years later. You could just be like, oh, that shit would sound really fucking cool.
Yeah, for sure.
You never know, and that's one thing too. Like, you could be like sometimes I'll just like not feel like writing anything, or I'll just do something else, and then like I'll just go out and do something, hang out with somebody, but and then I just decided, you know what, fuck it, I'll just write, and then some cool ass song comes out, something cool comes out, you know, you can't like really plan that out. Like I could have been out like doing something else, and like I just decided to stay home and just write. And you know, it's like I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I got you.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect
Like
sense.
you could be doing something else, but you know,
Yeah.
I was
Just
there
comes
writing
to you.
and just came. And it's like, to me, songwriting. What I've been thinking about is like has become very like a spiritual thing. You know, I don't really know where it comes from.
Yeah.
So for as long as I remember, I've been writing music. Like when I was a kid, just like writing songs in my head,
Yeah.
like just little songs. I mean, I can't say that I like legitimately been writing songs I guess since I was 13. That's when I first like actually picked up guitar and started writing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the urge to create was always there? Like even when songwriting wasn't a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been like this creative person. You know, I've always been like drawn to that. Like I used to draw, and I've always like interested in like acting and just like different forms of art, dancing, stuff like that. But I think music was the most prominent. You know, the thing that made the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Songwriting, you know, like I didn't expect to become a songwriter. Honestly, I just wanted to be like a really good guitar player. But it kind of just switched. I kind of just ended up writing songs, and like I just got better and better at it as time went by, and like having new experiences, seeing other people's experiences. You know, that's another thing about songwriting. Just like I feel like you have to be kind of have to be observant. You know.
Hey, real quick, the session's gonna end in 2 minutes, so I already created a link to another one. If
All
you
right.
guys want to jump over.
Yeah,
Are you gonna
sure.
text it to us or just?
We're
I
gonna
think I got
shift.
it.
Okay,
Right
so,
there.
let me give you the ID number. It's
Oh, hang on.
Should we stop recording then?
Yeah. Just stop recording.
Yeah.
All right.
I got you.
And that's why I think Trump is smarter than all of you.
Well, he's better than God, so I mean, you know. No, I just before the thought goes away. At one point, Ivan, you were mentioning that that it's kind of looked down upon by a lot of people, you know, to express yourself in that way and to have your voice heard and not be like the driving force or whatever. But I think, and I think it's true. A lot of people do kind of look down on people for being like that or from coming from that place. But I think at the end of the day, that just depends on who you're looking at. There's going to be people who get that or get you, and there's going to be people who don't get it. And for the people who don't get it, you know, I feel like a lot of those people, they're into the crap that's on the radio. That's just like, you know, for the, and that's what they get out of music. They don't get, you know, the deeper part of music, the more like personal part of music, like musicians and people who are a little bit more into understanding of art. They're going to get that. They're going to understand. And at the end of the day, it really comes, I think it's more important for that to have its use for you. You know what I mean? It's useful for you to get your voice out. And I think that may be helpful for other people too, because that's the beauty of music being relatable. That someone might hear your music and go, God, I totally understand where you're coming from, or how, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if it's not just lyrics, like just music in general too, it could hit you in a certain way.
It's kind of strange, huh? Because like on the one hand, I said that, but like the predominant culture of like popular music seems to be like, oh, I'm the best. Like, listen to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of like, and when you get like in the upper echelon of the people who are getting paid like the most money, like there's a lot of like people saying I'm the greatest that there ever was. But you know, there's a little bit to be said for that, because I know for me personally, I've always been a person who kind of like, I guess I've always kind of felt like I'm not good enough, like in a certain respect, like not even in musical settings, like just like in social settings, like.
Yeah, this homie's meek, dude.
Yeah, like
meek ass homie. Yo, I'm meek. I'm meek. I respect you and I respect your peak. Meek. I'm meek. Yeah. I'm about that meek.
Well, it's like the urge to like fucking measure up, you know? Like I've always felt like the need to do that. And I think like I always feel the urge to do that.
Are you saying
something? Anything in general? Like
yeah, like it's always been like, bro, like if we're like gonna get like super personal, like it is like.
Well, I think that's what songwriting is. It's something very personal. So.
Well, like I've always felt like I've been fucking
I want to hear what Mr. Maj had to say.
Well, let me just finish at this point real quick. Is that I've always felt kind of like separated, like from like my social group, you know, like I've never felt truly like I belonged in like one place, you know. And I think like I was always trying to like prove that I did belong. Like when it comes to musicians, like I always want to prove that I belong. Like when I was doing like, I don't know, anything like when I was studying like engineering, I wanted to prove that I belong with them too by like working harder, like doing something.
Maybe you just have a competitive personality. And
I do for sure.
Nothing
I
wrong
do.
with that. That's a good thing.
What were you gonna say,
Yeah.
Nigel?
No, I was just gonna say like I'm not a musician. You guys know that, but um
But you are a performer.
wait, what?
But you are a performer, and you're.
I mean,
you're
yeah, I was
artistic
just gonna
for
say
sure.
like
Creative.
in my artistic circle, G, or in what I do, you never really have total power over the creative process, G. Like as an actor, you're not really tasked to create a character. You're tasked to tap into that character's psyche and like develop his movements, his accent, his body language, and all of that stuff. But what I wanted to say about the music industry, and not just the music industry, but also like many other kinds of arts, I feel like there's a lot of pretentiousness. And like, I don't know, G, like I remember seeing this, it was a TV show, I don't remember which one, but they were talking about this guy that was making like millions of, maybe not millions, but thousands and thousands of dollars, G, by selling his art. And the way like he would like dip his dick into paint, literally, G, like grab the canvas.
Are
Dude.
you gonna do it right
Is he
now?
gonna do it?
I'm just watching all of your.
And like he was making thousands of dollars. And the crazy thing is that this guy claimed with all of his being that he was making art.
Oh wow. Maybe he was
Yeah.
trolling.
Yeah, he is.
In my head, I'm like, that's just pretentious, dude. That's just being pretentious.
Yeah, I guess that kind of depends. I mean, even if we're talking about it, it kind of like in its own form, it becomes art because it's like he expressed himself. Even though like
I don't think
there's,
so.
Look, I already see him shaking his head. No,
I don't think it's good art. I don't think it's good art. But then like, is that not subjective? I could see it and I'm like, yo,
I think it's subjective for sure. I think it
I
is
feel
subjective
like
for
there's
sure.
a fine line between
Yeah.
subjectiveness, dude, and just the absurd.
I agree with Nigel. I totally agree with Nigel.
I have
Like,
a theory behind
like-
that though.
all right, go on.
My theory is just that that guy wasn't truly an artist and he just wanted to do something just way out there because it's kind of making a joke towards art when people do something dramatic.
The thing is,
Yeah, like he's trolling, you mean?
He's making
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
He's making money. Like he is a paid artist.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like what every artist fucking like strives for? Like just financial independence, doing what you do.
I think it's insulting, dude.
I think it's insulting too.
I think it can be, but it just depends on like what, like all the little circumstances. Like he may not be an artist, but he created art. Like he,
Really,
yeah.
Art? Like, is that really like
Okay, so-
art? Like,
something
This
like
is what you guys are
I'll
talking
pull it up
about.
right now.
This is what you guys are talking about.
maybe his dick is just that beautiful. Like, it's like genetically like the
Maybe.
perfect dick. Like,
Because then it's like, can we look through different pieces of art that way? Like we look at Van Gogh, he's like, fuck it, I just knew these idiots would like this. Like, is that make it
It's-
art? I mean, I don't know.
no, dude. I think like when you see Van Gogh shit, like you could feel. All right, man. Like, there's like music out there. Like, say that I'm listening to Cardi B. Like, it fucking angers me. It angers me because I feel like it's like insulting my intelligence. Like it's like the predominant, like it's being pushed out there by like some sort of machine that says you decide that this is fucking.
You think this is an art? Then you're unpatriotic.
That's pretty awesome.
Look at the green screen still working its magic.
Silver dick.
Oh yeah, that's so
Holy
funny.
shit, dude.
That's fucking
Oh my
awesome.
god,
That's
dude.
kind of awesome.
That's really
I agree with Ivan.
That's the
I agree
worst
100%.
podcast ever.
Yeah, pretty much for 45 minutes, we're just gonna show you dick pics.
all right.
So we can't
Alright.
upload this onto YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
Thanks, my bad.
No, that's cool.
Well,
Well,
is there?
this is pretty much what you guys are talking about, right? Like you said that in order to create music or create good music, you have to base your thoughts and your inspiration. You have to draw from past experiences or just by just looking at things that inspire you. So there's already like a humanistic element to the art that you're creating, and I feel like that's what makes art art. There needs to be a reason for it, dude. For art to be called art and be appreciated, there needs to be a reason behind it. There needs to be a story behind it.
I kind of agree with it, but I don't.
I agree
His
too.
dick into paint and like just fucking like does that kind of shit and calls it art. I feel like it's an insult for everybody else that has studied, has worked to better themselves in their craft, and are really like struggling getting their art and their message out there. And this guy just with like a painted dick is making like thousands of bucks.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with the studying
agree.
part, though. I don't think it should be all about like, oh, it's art only belongs to people who really study and are like, doing this so they can get paid. I think that originally art kind of just came out of like where it came from. It came from inside. And I forgot who it was that I was listening to this thing the other day where this lady was talking about that you can't teach art. Art comes from inside. That pretty much art classes are kind of a waste because it's not really art. Art has to come from the inside, and that just comes from your creative self and your own. I think your own who you are and your own being. I think that's where the best, in my opinion, that's where the best art comes from because all these people who go to school and learn all this shit and they learn how to make music and it's very, to me it seems very surgical and very like controlled.
Right,
versus like the best artists, dude, they didn't fucking go to school. They just did it. It just came out. And that's
I think it's different. Like, oh yeah, go for it. Sorry.
No, I want to add to that. Just like relating to film, obviously I'm always like behind the scenes and whatnot. But I truly believe that even with film classes, you'll hear from people within the industry, like a lot of these people working in the industry did not go to school. They just learned as they went because they just had the passion for it.
The other thing is 20 years ago, those classes didn't exist.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Dude,
and people were making it.
Dude, if Spielberg didn't go to Long Beach or if Lucas didn't go to USC, those schools wouldn't cost so much, And it's kind of dumb because people are going there like, you're not going to be like Spielberg if you go to Long Beach. You're not going to be like Lucas if you go to USC. It's just the title behind it,
Yeah.
I think that also it's a form of parody, like in a way, and parody could be deemed as art too. And like, if I were to see this dude's art and like it was like on a wall and I didn't know anything about why he did it, like I could be like, yeah, it's art. Like it's not my favorite art. But it's art. And then if I heard, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Then it's just like it could even be one of those things when we're talking about Cardi B as a songwriter. Like it's like separating the art from the artist, but also like I do think Cardi B's music there's an art to it. Like these dudes know how to make like nice beats that aren't like very like it's shit that you've heard, but it's also like they add new shit to it. Like when you hear a dope beat, you're like, oh shit, I've heard this a million times, but they fucking learned how to make it bump again. Like
that is how I feel actually when I hear that music.
It's like you hear the same shit, but like people who listen to that music, they can hear the distinctions too. Like they're like, this is Cardi B's garbage speak all over this shit. I don't like Cardi B.
I don't know, dude. I don't really believe that. I feel like they don't. People don't know. Like I think like there's a mass of people that are just essentially the sheep.
Yep.
And I think that's essentially what like that shit's being catered to.
But
that's what the point was earlier.
I don't feel like people listen to artists like Cardi B because of their music.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
that's true.
Because of the character that she is, the personality that she has.
They want to shake their ass, dude.
But at the same time, people don't pay attention to Cardi B's personality without the music.
Oh hell no, G! Of course they do. That's how she became famous in the first place.
She's a rapper though.
She wasn't a rapper.
She's a personality, but Cardi B, the finished package that exists right now, is just because of music. We could say that she was an MTV star before, but this finished Cardi B product that's presented, that's a whole package deal.
She's a product.
Something, dude. Like I spent a lot of time on the phone. I spent a lot of time on fucking YouTube, dude, and honestly, I have never listened to a single Cardi B song, but I can tell you I have listened to or I have seen like all of her stupid videos, all of her stupid like remixes that people make.
Coronavirus!
They're just making fun of her.
Yeah.
And I feel like those are the videos that are making her famous, not so much like her music or like even like her movie. Wasn't she in the movie with J-Lo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you could convince one of her fans that it's not art, that's the challenge.
People are gonna make up their minds like already. Like people already know like what in their hearts they know what art is.
Yeah, because art
is just like what this is like about. I guess it's just us giving up our own opinion, dude. But mine is right.
This is the beauty of art. This is a really good discussion. This is like where it's not even like we're talking about it being subjective. It's like Like I could say it's art, but you don't have to say it's art at all. And
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that I'm right and you're wrong. It just like that's how we feel about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm inspired by her music to write my own trash music. Like, but in a way because it's in my mind, I've turned it into art.
There's something I want to say about me, Frank, and Jared.
Hey, Anthony. I think if you mute your mic, it'd be good because you're moving around and it's getting. All I hear is.
Oh, sorry.
What are you doing?
I just got to my car.
You're going to work?
Yeah, but we're good. I'm gonna be able to stay on for like the rest.
Wow. All right. Cool.
I mean,
Well,
you know what?
Gonna say, Evan?
Yeah, dude.
I'll be
Frank,
right back, guys.
For sure. Frank, Jared, and I were talking about like the state of the music industry now, just like the state of music, and like there's this whole thing about that I was bringing up what I would like for artists to be like in our society, at least any sort of artist. Where like I think like most artists are like products and they kind of have like this kind of like life where like they kind of like peak and then just fucking fall because they're not desirable in terms of like commerce anymore, you know? See what I mean? But like I was like listening to or just watching Beethoven documentaries or just like anyone who just like really pursues their craft, like they fucking like in the latter day of their lives, like they're like art went like this, you know what I mean? Like it just kept getting better and better and better despite like how much success they had because they had like this inner drive to be better. And I feel like, dude, my favorite band for a long time was Metallica. And like Metallica like had like this kind of thing. They straight up like fucking like peaked like really fast and just like dropped off because I think they just don't have the desire to anymore, you know?
Yeah.
I think like the society, not the society, but the way that the music industry is structured is that it like incentivizes artists to just kind of have like this like brief fluke and not
it's
like
money. It's money, dude. It
but
was when the recording industry turned into these big monster.
Yeah, but they don't like want to fucking. They like stay playing the same style. Like people who like I think really dedicate to their crafts like always push themselves like for the next best thing. Like even if they never achieve it, they're always like trying. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Well, that's what I'm saying is that there's certain artists that are going to stay true to themselves and they're going to put that above money. And then there's artists that just want to make a gang of money. And I feel like, no offense to rap or that industry, because I listen to rap and I like a lot of that shit, but I don't listen to rap for most rap. I don't listen to for a creative input because A, I can't relate to a lot of the music, and B, I feel a lot of rap music is geared towards just making a lot of fucking money in sales, which to me, I don't care about that, but I know they care about that. That's why they have a formula, because they know what's going to sell. To me, I think that's why you always hear people talk about selling yourself out to the industry. And I think that's what the recording industry's main concern has been for the longest time. I mean, probably since like Motown hit, because when Motown hit, that's when everything started making a gang of these sales, and it was all about just, hey, make a hit, sell, sell. And luckily we had artists that also were really fucking awesome. Like, you know, Elvis Presley was able to take a lot of that Motown style music, this black like culture music, and put it out for like other people to actually hear and accept and take in as music. But it also sold. It just happened that it made a lot of people liked it.
Yeah.
But now I feel like everything is just so cookie cutter, and it's
But I mean, even rock and roll is a lot like that, and people deemed rock and roll when it first came out as like this is not music. This like people listen to classical and shit, classical records and like big band, and like when rock and roll came out, it's like this is not music. And then there's an adapt a situation where people were like kids heard that like, oh, it's not music, like, well, I'm gonna listen to it even more, and then we've turned into this rock and roll to this giant thing that's like, I mean, even rap, like there's been some really shitty songs and like from 20 years ago, like further than that, like, and they've helped evolve into like trap music and shit, which is like
terrible.
I love trap music because like you can make something really fucking stupid and then just put like a
yeah.
Well, like
that's true. That's definitely true. And I mean, like I said, I didn't mean to pick on rap specifically because you could take that to a bunch of genres. I feel like some electronic music is like that too. It's just this cookie cutter, like, oh, if I make it's gonna sell. It's like, yeah, but is it good? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does it really hit? Like,
People don't understand is that I don't know, the whole reason for writing these songs or making art, Like, I think if you make it like right and just work on your art passionately, you will be successful. You know, like if you are that passionate about it, I feel like it will go that far. You know, and
That's
you won't
interesting.
need to go through like all the fucking bullshit of like, you know, like the cookie cutter shit that you're talking about, Frank. I don't. That's how I feel like. For me, like I feel like.
Do you feel like there's a divide between like people like us who go to music for that, like for that relatableness, for the beauty of the art, for the structure of how songs are written, and then there's like, I feel there's a divide between people like that and people who go to music because it's got a beat and they can move to dance to it.
Oh
And,
yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna tell you,
absolutely.
I have a good answer for that, dude, from my perspective. Okay, because I'm very storytelling driven. That's the way I look at art. Any kind of art, really, I look for the story behind it. I feel like what attracts me to music mainly is lyrics.
Same.
What are they saying? What are they talking about? And then after that, like everything else comes after that. That's the way I learned.
All right, could I ask a question?
Appreciate. Mhm.
All right, do you, Frank, and Anthony feel that way?
About what?
What
Like
Michael
the
just said?
lyrics, like more
Yeah,
lyric driven.
lyrics are the most important.
Well, maybe I wouldn't say lyrics are the most important, but I definitely pay a lot of attention to lyrics. But I hear everything more from like an analytical perspective because I'm more of an audio engineer. So I'm always hearing for like sonic
Interesting.
quality and how everything comes together as a
Oh
whole.
yeah.
And that's you and I have had this conversation, Ivan, where I've talked about electronic music, and I think you're mentioning that you don't think electronic music is considered to be like, you know, like a good composition that's because it's not real instruments. And my objection to that is that I don't listen to each little sound as like, oh, that sounds really 8-bitty and that sounds like fake. I listen to like how everything sounds overall and how it comes together. And that's like my number one is how everything sounds together. But I
Gotcha.
definitely am for sure lyric driven when it comes to like what I
Same.
like.
Same.
And that just comes from like
You
being a
too,
kid
Billy?
and listening to a lot
Pardon?
of lyrics.
Oh, I just asked if you too, Billy. You're like lyrically driven.
No, I'm not. I'm the opposite.
Yeah, I was just say. I was gonna ask. I wanted to ask a follow-up question. Was you and Jared? Are you guys harmonically driven? Because I
Yes.
feel like that's the way I am.
I try now to see as complete a picture as I can get, because if I write some dope ass chords and I can't think of good lyrics, then I'm fucked. Like, and same vice versa. If I write some lyrics and I don't know how to fit them into anything, but like, it's like literally for me, it's just like one step at a time. Like I'll just keep stacking them until I have like okay, I have this chord. I'll just fucking start something like this, and I'm like, and like I don't know, like agility the podcast we do and things keep it going. Like it just it's a team effort. If you told me to write those lyrics like without that, I wouldn't have been able to like as quickly. But for me, like lyrically is just, and this is just for me, like it's just like literally one step at a time, like because it's just different. It's different every time. It's different.
Honestly, for me,
Oh, sorry, go on.
for my part, like I feel like my mind has always been kind of like in trailer mode. So whenever I hear a song, just like you guys, it's not always the lyrics. Even from like all the way back to Metallica, if I hear a song, I'm not fully listening to lyrics. It's more like, oh my god, like this is getting me going, and I'm always picturing a scene. No matter what, I'm always picturing like a movie scene in my head.
That's
like,
nice.
I like that. Pretty much for any song. Yeah. But I love both though, like lyrically and harmonically.
I feel like it's everything. Like when you have obviously, when you have like good lyrics and you have a good melody and good music overall, like the whole thing just comes to a full circle, dude. But for example, like I was looking for poetry the other day for one of my classes, and I came across like this, what I thought was a poem, dude. I was like, this is really fucking good, dude. And then at the end, at the very bottom, dude, like it said that it was from a rap song.
Oh, really?
I was like, oh shit, dude. Then I listened to the rap song and I did not fucking like it.
Oh, really?
What song was it? Do you remember?
Was it a new rap song?
Huh?
Was it a new one or an old one?
No, it was like, I mean, probably like in the last decade or something.
I want to ask one thing about rap to Anthony mostly. Well, I guess maybe who likes rap here?
I love rap.
Should
Well,
I raise my hand?
I like some rap.
So like,
Yeah.
was rap better back like 10 years ago?
Oh,
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it had a lot more like came from here a lot more. Also, it was less about fuck bitches. Well, maybe not 10 years ago. Well,
20,
let's
20,
fuck bitches.
I think it was-
20, huh?
I think it was more about fuck bitches. I feel like I listen to. I feel like there's a lot of introspective rap from like artists, rappers that like writing about some real like their feelings and shit. I feel like we're
Yeah.
as we.
That's what I like. I like that shit.
Yeah, me too.
Ivan, I have a
That's
question
true.
for Ivan. What did you
What's
think about those rappers I showed you that were more underground lyrically of how they were?
Oh,
Which
he
ones?
didn't listen to them, dude. He didn't listen to them.
Are you
Oh!
talking about no? Because he showed me yeah. which one?
Afura was one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot, but I forgot like how the song went. But I remember that I was like, dude, this is like way better than like, because you were showing me some new shit, and I was like, I don't like this, man.
Yeah.
And then like you showed me that, and then I think Above the Clouds as well, right? I fucking really like
Yeah.
Above the Clouds. And then my friend showed me this band called, or like this group called Cutting Linguist.
Oh, hell
I've
yeah.
never heard of.
They're
that
fucking
sounds
good.
awesome.
Dude, Cunning Linguist is dope. He's a
Yeah.
but he's a wordsmith, man. That guy's all
Yeah,
about
like
it.
I was like, dude, this is fucking beautiful. Like I love
And-
everything he's saying.
That brings me to a good point that I wanted to talk about, especially because Nigel brought up the whole storytelling thing. Do you guys like? And I don't know if this is like a style of writing lyrics, but if there's a name for it. But I really love when like in a chorus or in a song, the artist will like say it's like a 16-bar chorus, right, or a 16-bar verse, right? And right before the chorus, it's like the last couple bars. They'll say like this line, and then they'll keep referring to that line like for the next two verses, but it'll be different. Like they'll use the same words.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like calling back on a theme or something?
It's
Yeah. So like I'll give you an example. There's this artist I like, Odyssey, and there's a song called You Know Who You Are, and there's 3 verses, but each verse is like talking about something different. So the first verse he's talking about this relationship with the girl who like absolutely was a piece of crap to him and pretty much like didn't support him at all. The second one was a friend who was like there for him and was honest with him. And then the third one is like for a chick that he met that he's with now who like he loves and has his back. But at the end of each chorus, he continues to refer to it, and what's awesome is it goes into the chorus. So he'll be like, I'll give you an example. So he said, the first verse, it ends, I won't even mention your names in my bars, too close to the scars, but I'm sure that. And then the chorus is, you know who you are, right? And then the second verse, it ends, and that meant I ain't even mention your names in my bar because you know you're close to my heart. I'm sure that you know who you are. And then the third one is, he's talking actually more about himself. He says, let them tell lies on you, let them see you rebel, let them bail, they'll attempt to stunt your star. In any event, be sure that you know who you are. Like, you know what I mean?
I see.
That's dope. I love that
Yeah.
kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's clever. It's a clever use of I don't even know
Yeah.
what to call that.
didn't Breaking the Habit kind of do that by Linkin Park?
Like, what do you mean?
Lyrically,
What
like
part?
where so the first verse is basically he's pouring out his emotions, but then towards the end he says like now he has some clarity, but he's still keeping the same refrain, but the lyrics are slightly changing.
Let me see. I'm trying to remember.
That's pretty much the idea. I
Almost
don't
right,
know
yeah.
that song, but
I think
Like I'm trying to think, because he says I don't know where. Someone here knows the lyrics.
Yeah, I don't know what.
What's the
worth,
song?
I don't know what's worth fighting for.
Yeah, but why
Oh, I
have
have
to
to-
change?
Why I have to
change?
scream?
Yeah, but then at
I
the
don't know
end,
what. Yeah,
the
yeah.
next part, he
Wait, sorry,
said,
go
but
on.
now I have some clarity to show you what I mean. He doesn't say that in the beginning. Like he says something else beside that. So he's like telling the story. He's
Yeah.
telling from beginning to end.
Dude, Chester Bennington had a really honest way of writing.
Oh yeah,
I really like his lyrics a lot.
so many good songs.
I don't. People fucking clowned on them, dude. I thought he was fucking good. Like,
dude, I used to get so much shit for liking Linkin Park.
Oh,
in the
really?
70s. I remember I walked into this new school when I first started going to Sierra Vista.
Uh-huh.
I walked in with my Linkin Park sweatshirt, and everybody was like, "It's fucking gay." Like, like everyone would say you're gay if they didn't like what you're wearing. And I remember I was like, you guys. And then that year in the yearbook, they put like the #1 fucking album was a Hybrid Theory, and I was like, fuck oh yeah.
It's true. It's true. I remember that. I think I remember that year, dude. Yeah, it's a fucking good album. They had
Hey,
like
I think there's something very interesting going on. While we're talking about the dick art, like way back, is Linkin Park like dick art?
no,
What?
dude.
No.
No, come
All
on,
right,
man.
I pulled this up. I pulled up the dude.
I can't see.
And
it
Your
looks-
background is
dude,
killing it.
It looks like fucking San Francisco.
It's beautiful, dude.
It still looks like San Francisco.
There we go. All right.
I can't see
So,
it.
let me pull up some stuff. Some of this shit really bothers me, and it's very like I fucking hate it. He like literally puts his balls against like paint things.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Shit like that.
Oh, God.
That outlines how stupid people are, dude.
And look how fucking fit he is. Like, he
Yeah, I was looking at this and fuck that guy, dude.
but then
Fuck him.
like look at this. Like
Was that the with his balls?
that's his
Oh.
dick. He did it all with his dick.
No way,
Oh
really?
my God.
Are you serious?
So like
That's kind of cool.
He really
That's
did that
like-
with his dick?
yeah, he did.
All right, well,
What the
fuck him, dude.
I know, seriously, fuck this guy.
Oh
Part
my
of
God.
part of me is like, yeah, there's like very artistic side. He's putting effort into this, but then like I see that picture, I'm like, fuck this guy. Like he just
Jealous,
he
dude.
just fucking
I'm
yeah,
just like
he's just,
straight up jealous.
he's just showing off. Like he's fucking way more fit than all of us.
I know.
insane.
Richer, has a bigger
But-
dick, it looked like. He's got a big dick, right?
He has to.
This is the first picture. He's doing Obama. It's really beautiful.
Wow.
It's really beautiful. Okay.
That's fucking hilarious.
Okay,
Dude,
wait.
this
This
session's
was-
gonna run out, dude.
Anthony, did you see? Were you able to see?
Yeah. So that's
Don't
the
crash,
guy who was
dude.
he was painting he was painting with his dick, right?
He's painting
Yeah.
and his balls
Oh,
It's a combo.
so this whole time I only thought
I
that
think
he
it
was
was you,
just
Billy.
I thought he was just literally getting slabs of paint and just slapping his dick on
Yeah, that's what I
paper.
thought too.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, that's the video that I saw.
Yeah, I thought
honestly-
if it's fucking good, then it's fucking good. I
Yeah.
can't like.
honestly, him doing that looks good. Like I can't argue if
I
it's
hate
actually
it. I fucking
yeah.
hate it.
He's drawing Marilyn
Yes.
Monroe with his
I mean,
dick.
I hate it on another level. I don't hate it like in terms of art. I hate it because like I'm jealous.
It's not original art, like Billy was saying. G, like he's just
Well, that's true.
painting, like
That's very
he's
true.
painting things that already exist.
Maybe there's
His
more.
technique is good though. He's got good technique.
Maybe there's more. I mean, the Obama one and the Marilyn Monroe one got credit, but there's like a nice little skull one in the background. Like,
I'm imagining like how long can your dick be to like fuck yeah, never mind. The
Dude, you-
precision.
Dude, he had a big old schlong. You didn't see that
Did you
shit?
see it?
I think his wife sued him, G, because she got an infection from him.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Like I think that was like the thing.
Is she
in
still
the
his
video that I
wife?
saw.
He probably used acrylic maybe.
Anthony, look at this.
Oh my god.
Anthony, look at the screen.
Oh my
It's
I
god.
don't know what I'm looking
It's
at.
funny to see
Wow.
all
Yeah, I don't even. Is that like
Jesus.
white part like his dick or?
He's like, I think it's like really thick on there, or he's either got a big like erect dick, or he's just like fucking.
It's like powder on it maybe. Maybe he uses
What'd
that
you guys
before.
talk about today? Well, we want to talk about music and ended up
Oh,
talking about
goodness.
dicks. the whole day.
It's all about, but it's always about dick.
It's all
I
about
hope he's
dicks.
just- I think like all these pictures he's naked. I hope he's just a fucking like nudist, like a really good looking nudist that just like.
That just
Oh,
happens.
dude.
to
There are
paint
no
well.
nudists that are good looking. Have you ever like seen a nudist colony?
Do you remember?
Yeah.
It's
Most of
fat
them
old
are,
people.
I feel like most
Old
of them
people,
are
yeah.
old people.
Did you guys ever watch that Adult Swim show, like with like the big white like demon kind of guy? It was like naked. He's like a business guy.
No.
It was like
Yeah.
it was like the same kind of art style as like Metalocalypse or like.
Oh yes, G, like he works at an office or something.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, that's exactly what that guy reminds me of. Like if he
Dude.
just walks around like he's just like no problem. Like hey guys, hey Greg, hey Frank. Like good to see you
Yeah, I
guys.
remember. Speaking of nudists, real quick, like a couple
This
years
shit's
ago,
gonna
I
end
was
right
looking
now.
on.
Oh, yeah.
Less than a minute. Real quick. A couple years ago, I was looking for gigs, and I found this one on Craigslist. It said, "Looking for a sound operator willing to work in the nude. Some of these days are being filmed at a nudist resort. Clothing is not optional."
What?
Damn.
I was like really
Did,
thinking
did
about
you
it.
apply? You should have done it.
I
dude.
wanted to, but I
You
didn't.
should. That's good experience.
That could be your shtick, dude. The
Maybe-
naked sound guy.
Turned down. I remember, G, like I turned down an acting gig. It was for a play, and there was a full frontal nudity.
Whew.
And I was just like, no, dude, I can't fucking.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, maybe
ballsy.
I don't even like. Even if I was fit, I don't think I would do it. Like, I feel like that's where I would draw my line in live acting. Like, if it was for a movie,
Billy would do it.
fuck, I don't know.
Wow, you really don't care about art, dude. I guess like that's,
You
dude.
should-
Yeah,
The show must
that's a
go
weird
on,
line.
dude.
I feel
We are on another one, like less than a minute. Do you guys want to make another one, like end like when we want to end, or do you want to?
I have nothing going on today.
I'm literally, I had to go to work in less than 10 minutes, sadly. I know. But
Alright.
I enjoy this dick talk.
All right, dude.
Definitely, bro.
Anthony, we
Alright,
love
bro.
you,
Good
man.
day, man.
Have a good day,
oh,
dude.
man.
Thank you guys.
Good luck
Well,
out there
yes.
fighting
Good luck, man.
the TP Warriors.
So you guys want to do one more? And
Love the
then-
bird.
Let's do
down.
one more. Let's do the shorter one because I
Alright.
want to get out of here too. My fucking head is pounding, dude. And I've been
Come on,
jerking off
Billy.
this whole time. All right, let's stop recording. 3,
It's all
2,
this dick
1.
talk.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'll see you.
Something funny.
Philosophy.
Whoa, I can't believe you said that. Oh, wow. You guys,
Oh shit, we got a surprise character
Larry.
has joined the party.
who the fuck is
What is
Larry
it?
Stein?
Wait, what does it say?
It's a new
New
fighter, dude. It's a
new fighter approaching.
Are we recording? We are recording. All right.
Oh, we're recording now?
While Larry's getting on, I think the last thing we finished off was talking about dicks and penises, but why don't we start going back to the whole music writing thing?
Yeah, I'm down. There was something I wanted to ask, but I forgot. Who was talking last? Was you? Was it?
Billy.
Larry. Frank was.
Larry was.
Yeah. Was you? Is you Frank?
We're talking about the nudist colony thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of music,
Big talk.
All right. Do you guys think there's objectively bad music though?
Of course.
yeah,
I do.
I think it'd be impossible to say that there isn't. Like people, you mean like people just like fuck it, they'll listen to it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm really
DJ
confused
Khaled,
about?
dude. I fucking hate that guy. I hate that guy, dude. I fucking.
Really?
I think he's trash, dude. But
Why? You gotta elaborate, dude.
oh,
What's up,
shit.
Larry? Larry.
What's up, Larry?
Larry? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Wow.
Why is there two of them?
Took me long enough.
There's two Larry's iPhones.
Two Larrys.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Gotta back
Is
up.
there another Larry coming?
Larry,
No,
the
it's
Larry's
just
in
me.
here. Hey, what's up, Larry?
Larry?
I'm Billy, man. Nice to
Oh,
virtually
yeah.
meet you, dude.
Hi, Billy. I'm
Oh,
Larry.
yeah. Hi. Nice to meet you too.
Larry, I love that hat.
Oh, really?
Can you talk about your hat for a few minutes?
Yeah. I got it at H&M. And it was probably like $5 or $6.
Nice.
So yeah.
It's a nice hat.
Such like affordable clothes. It's crazy.
Yeah. It
It really
really
is.
is. And they have like the best hats because my head's like an awkward shape. So it like
Oh, dude,
It's like
you're talking
a-
about the king of fucking awkward shaped heads. I'm gonna go there and grab myself a hat now. Thanks.
Dude, Nigel just fucking went for a beer run right now. Like literally a beer run.
Hey, who was talking about getting a drink earlier? Was that Anthony?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, this is you too.
Have you guys seen those videos of the meeting?
Are you gonna pass it?
To turn their video off. It's so.
Here, who wants to hit?
I
Oh,
do.
shit, dude.
God.
honestly, I'm at the point where I'm just gonna like learn how to make my own drinks. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you should.
Hell yeah, dude.
Self-reliant. Yeah, you don't want to have to rely on a bar.
Joanna.
Right?
Did you really see her?
Yeah, she was outside. She's outside.
Oh. Told her, hey, you should be on this podcast.
Yeah, she doesn't give a fuck about us, dude.
And
Just
she
kidding,
goes,
Joanna. I love you.
Wait, so what was the question earlier before?
If there's objectively bad songwriting.
Oh yeah. There's
Come on up.
definitely bad songwriting, but the tricky part with that is everybody has different taste. So somebody could think one thing's good and another one could think it's terrible.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. That's why it's subjective. That's why art is pretty subjective. But so I got a question. Like I'm at odds with this.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
like,
guitar's like really loud, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry,
Well,
dude.
I was gonna say like one thing that I struggle with to figure out personally if I like or not is I don't know if it's called Glitch or no, not Glitch. Glitch is more like the Nintendo D sound. But like, you guys know who Flying Lotus is?
No.
Flying Lotus
Yeah.
is like this electronic producer, dude.
Yeah, they're
And
dope. Or he's dope.
He's
I've
dope.
definitely heard the name, probably through one of my musician friends. But
They're pretty dope. It's like artistic electronic music.
Definitely,
Oh,
because they use real
neat.
instruments. It's not all electronic, but it's like a mixture. But anyways,
I'll
he's
check
got
it out.
music that it sounds very well composed, and it whatever.
But
It carries itself.
I think your mic is off or something. Like, you
Oh,
sound
is it
very
super
low.
low?
Yeah,
Oh, you know
you're
why? I
pretty
turned
low.
it down earlier. How about now? Is that better? Hey.
Sounds
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I could hear you.
Better? Yeah, I turned it down because I was trying to get the drums in. I was saying that a lot of his music is very well composed in like the traditional sense, but he's definitely like he does a lot of things where it goes like off timing, or it's like this like sort of swing, sort of like drag. But then some of the music gets completely like random, doesn't really musically make sense. But a lot of people dig that, and so like it's weird because I'll listen to it, and there'll be times where I really dig it. Then I'm like, this is just noise. Like at some point, you're like, at what point does that turn from being cool to like this ain't music
Oh,
anymore?
well, I have a
Yeah.
question for you.
I'm gonna
I have a
get
question related
freaking.
to that. What do you guys think of lo-fi music? Because I feel like that's pretty much what it is.
I love lo-fi.
No, lo-fi has
No.
like harmony in it.
There are
I think
lo-fi
it sounds
songs
kind
that
of
sound like
random.
that.
Like after you listen to it for a while, it's just like random. Like I'm not saying it sounds bad, but it's just random like chords and like random like beats.
Well,
It
I
might
mean,
sound random
well,
to you.
It doesn't sound
people
random to me.
people could honestly say the same thing about jazz music.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. If you're going like super crazy, yeah.
Because
Yeah, agreed.
that's why like for a while like it took me I've always appreciated jazz because it just has like a nice ambience and
I
it
love
just gives
jazz.
a nice vibe to like anywhere. But I never really like cared to really look up specific jazz musicians, because for me it's just like ambience music, because it's just random chords and just random progressions. It doesn't really have a structure. There's not really like like a compose like there's no organized composure to it. It's just people just playing and jamming and
playing in
Well,
the background.
the thing with jazz, and dude, like I love jazz. I fucking listen to jazz all the time. But I feel like for me, the way that I appreciate jazz or the way I see jazz, it's like control chaos. I feel like it's like a constant battle between the instruments. Dude. Like they're fighting with each other, but at the same time they're working together.
well, I mean, it's to me, it's kind of cool to see jazz bands work on that dynamic, because they're all like, we're gonna play it in this key, but just follow along, and
Well, that's the
I
thing.
might change. And that's what's cool about it, because it's a good band dynamic, and it really, for musicians, I think it's a good thing to practice like their ear training to just see where everything's going. But you can't really do that like in like orchestra music because that's like very specific and very structured and very rigid.
So wait,
Yeah.
what you're saying is that you have to analyze and you have to appreciate different styles and different genres of music in different ways.
Yeah, it's like I think it's more of just an understanding of what it is, really. 'Cause
Yeah.
people can't really say like, oh, I hate jazz, it's just noise. And it's like, well, you got to know what jazz is before you say jazz is terrible, because
Yeah.
it's not really because it's just bad music. It's probably because they either grew up playing in an orchestra where everything's written in a specific manner versus people just playing.
I have a couple things to say about that. One, I do play jazz, or like at least I learned how to play jazz, and like there is structure to it, but there's so many different kinds of jazz. There's free jazz where they're just literally like 1, 2, 3, go, like, and everyone just fucking do whatever they want. And then there's like bebop, which requires a lot of skill and understanding, and it's like. And then like there's people in the jazz community that like are very they're so fucking far out that you don't even really understand. Like I know this is genius, but it doesn't register to me. Like I
Like that guy, dude. Ivan, what's his name, dude? That guy, Jacob.
Jacob
Collier.
Collier.
that's exactly who I was thinking of right now.
Yeah.
Like that dude.
Like, to me, like, dude, like when I listen to
Yeah,
it,
yes,
when I
dude.
look, and this is the thing. I feel like out of us, out of the six of us, dude, I am the least musically inclined. I don't play instruments, dude. Like, I don't do any of that stuff. But when I listen to this guy, it doesn't sound bad, but I have a really, 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 really hard time understanding and appreciating his music.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
See,
like, it sounds weird. It sounds interesting. I don't get it, but I'm still listening to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't.
Yeah,
I, don't
I
get
can't really get into like, I guess, like instrumental jazz. Just that's because I can just say that's not my style.
Well, have you heard
But
that guy or no?
No,
I haven't heard this
Jacob
guy.
Collier.
He's modern.
He's basically Keanu Reeves' son. Like if Keanu Reeves'
Yeah.
son played music, that's basically what it looks like.
Well, and he inherited Neo's powers
Fuck does that?
in music.
What are you
though.
talking
with music.
What are you talking?
Because he's like, he seems like he's breaking like the rules, dude. Yeah, he looks like Keanu Reeves, dude.
like Keanu Reeves had a kid in the Matrix, and then like that kid became a musician.
I like to do. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go stack 47 vocals on top of each other, and hopefully something musical will come of it. He's got, like,
He
that
does
weird
that. He
low
does
voice.
that, Larry. Like he fucking does that shit.
Yeah, he does like
Oh,
fucking.
funny.
He did one where he had a bunch of celebrities like hold one note out, like, oh. He took it and then he sampled it.
Yeah.
Stacked
There-
it to, like I think like 200 vocals.
That's super cool.
altogether.
I'm gonna send it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this link to you guys. But he made a video with some like
Herbie
YouTube
Hancock.
channel where he talks about
Harmony.
like harmony structure. Have you seen it?
Is that the one where he does
Herbie
like the
Hancock?
levels? Like yeah.
Yeah,
like,
he starts with like kids and goes all the way
Yeah,
to like
I like
college
that video.
teachers and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's a really
Dude,
good
Frank,
video.
Frank sent me that video when I didn't know who he was, and I saw Herbie Hancock. And I was, who the fuck is this kid thinking he could teach Herbie Hancock
I know
some
Herbie
shit? dude?
Hancock's just fucking like.
I was like, fuck.
But dude, did you see what he did with it though? Like that was pretty dope. Oh,
Yeah,
You're talking about the other thing though.
you're talking. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Herbie Hancock ended up teaching that dude some shit.
Yeah.
That dude's
Herbie
that dude's Quincy Jones's like one of Quincy Jones's prodigies.
Yeah.
Like he,
Oh, really?
I think he went to like the school that Quincy like I don't know if he teaches, but it's like Quincy Jones music school or some shit. And
heard
like he's
something like that,
he's
yeah.
one of his prodigies.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of he has some really cool shit, but it's just like a lot of it's just
Yeah,
like
Didn't he just
so-
win a Grammy?
yeah, he
Really?
won a Grammy. He won
For
a
what?
Grammy
Sure he
For
won
that
a
new
Grammy.
album?
I think so,
for being fucking chaotic and weird.
Well, we were talking about him about the relatability we have like in terms of like his art, and we were like I showed Frank Daniel Johnston. You guys heard of this guy?
No.
Yeah. Just that.
Like we were just talking about like the spectrum of like type of artist you can be. Like Daniel Johnston is like this artist that some people regard as like the greatest songwriter of all time. I don't agree, but I think he's really fucking good. But
No,
like
he's
his,
been around.
huh?
He's been around. I'm looking at his discography. He's like we got shit in like 1980.
Dude, if you listen to his shit, he's like the exact opposite of Jacob Collier. Like he has no musical ability, but he
his
has heart.
songwriting is dope. Yeah, he's got heart for
Yeah,
sure.
like you could tell. Like, and what we were saying about Jacob is that like Jacob, when he writes, it feels like he's writing the things that like should be said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess
Like,
so.
it should sound like this. It should sound like this, and it should be perfect like this. It's almost robotic in a sense.
I
Like,
was
a lot-
thinking like
But like the content too, like what he's
Yeah.
saying, like
Yeah,
he's
he's, like,
writing a love
articulate.
song. Like, has he felt love? Like, I don't know.
right,
It doesn't feel like it. Like
right.
who,
Yeah.
Boss. Yeah,
Maybe he
Jacob.
has. I don't
Oh.
know.
Like I don't know. But what I'm saying is like when you hear Daniel Johnson's music, you could feel he feels what he's telling you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's what makes a good one of, I think, at least for me, in my personal opinion, a lot of good singer-songwriters that I listen to, a lot of their stuff comes from a very personal place. And I think hearing a lot of musicians talk about their music as if like they're like their kids or something like that. Like each song has like a certain story to them, even whether it be like, you know, what inspired it or how they were feeling when they wrote it, how long it took them to really get the right words out, or they just thought of a concept and they kept writing it. Like that stuff is fascinating to me. But what's also fascinating, I guess, like is a lot of different artists right now are just feeling more free to explore other things and grow, and not do the same thing that they've been doing for years.
yeah.
Like for instance, one of my favorite artists who, like when I was learning how to sing when I was little, like just like copying people, I would listen to her music, and she's a gospel singer. Her name is Crystal Lewis. She's, in my opinion, she's phenomenal. She's a phenomenal vocalist, but she has a very interesting voice. But she just put out a jazz record, but she wrote a lot of the lyrics, and it's just really cool how she incorporated like her love for jazz, but also her love for storytelling, and kind of combining the two. And that's what made me like kind of appreciate jazz records a little more. I think it's because it's just combined with the storyteller in me.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah,
dude,
that's
what I'm
what
saying, dude. Like, I feel like Larry and I kind of have the same vision. Because I was telling them, dude, that for me, I always look for the storytelling in any kind of art that I see, and I feel like that's because of my theater background. That's the way that I've done art, and that's the way that I analyze art, and not just my theater background, dude, but also like I went to school for literature, so that's also what I did. Like I just analyzed the words.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's even
like
my
to
visual
find
art.
sense.
Yeah. Well, even it's like my visual art side and my theater side. A lot of the visual art that I do is very rigid and very detailed, and depicting certain moments. And I think that's kind of linked into what I defined as quality art. But again, I always say, like, you know, this is my personal opinion, but I'm open to hear what other people like too, because I think the nuance of art in and of itself is it speaks to different people in different ways. And one thing could be moving to someone, but then it could not do anything to someone else. Does it make it good or bad? Probably not. But I think everybody can universally agree that a pile of trash in the middle of a museum is not worth $20,000. But I mean,
you should tell Billy that.
We were just talking about that.
You should tell Billy that.
What's that supposed to be?
He likes Cardi B. Come on.
I don't like Cardi B.
You said that she inspired you to write music.
Yeah, her music does, like, because there's a skill to it. There's a skill to learning how to do trap beats and like how to do sampling.
Calling it inspiring.
Yeah,
honestly,
it is.
No, but you could find
honestly, what's wrong with Cardi B?
She sucks.
Different elements.
She sucks. That's
Who said that?
what's wrong with her.
What did Jared say?
I enjoy Cardi B, honestly.
Why?
All right.
Like, do you really? Wait,
Okay,
do
no,
you
no, no,
really
no.
enjoy her?
1 out of 6.
I don't like go out and buy all her records or whatever. But like, it's not like to the point where like if a Cardi B song comes on the radio or whatever, I'm not gonna be like, turn that shit off. I hate it.
Yeah, I won't either.
Like,
I won't either.
Like,
unless you want to shake your ass, right? I mean,
yeah, like if I want to
yeah,
shake my
like,
ass,
honestly,
that's what it's for.
I'm not going there so
like-
I can relate to her. I'm going there so I can shake my ass or get a girl to
like,
shake her ass.
honestly,
It's
like-
drinking music for
like
sure.
her music is
Yeah,
just
Earth is shaking its ass. Dude.
Yeah.
her music is just
The Western
like,
Hemisphere
I
or the
just wanna
Eastern
turn up.
Hemisphere.
I mean, it was the same thing like when Nicki
Spain,
Minaj
Europe's
first came
fucking,
out.
Oh, dude, Italy's fucking hit hard, dude.
Man.
Look at this fool.
With Billy's ass.
Oh
my God.
You guys want to know something really gross? I haven't showered in a couple days, and I smell like fucking Cheez-Its, dude.
That's pretty gross.
I haven't taken a shower.
It's
Kinda
bad
glad
when
we're
you
not
when you
there.
smell yourself.
Just trying to be me, dude. Just trying to live my best life over here.
Hey, can I ask you guys? Have you guys seen? I want to share my screen real quick. Have you guys seen this thing on Instagram with this little girl singing this song? I don't know if you can see what's on my screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, how do you do that?
Oh,
Play it.
somebody posted that, yeah, but I haven't seen
Have
it.
you? I don't know. I'm gonna play it. Tell me if you can hear it. I don't know if you can. If you can't, then I'll stop it. But I don't know if the audio goes through. Is it going through? Or no?
Oh, wait.
No.
Wait, hold on. Slightly.
Is the audio playing from the computer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
going through.
Well,
yeah.
There's an option you have on your computer too, where you can select like the speaker and like the microphone and stuff.
Dude, Billy looks like God right now. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Look at this.
I'm
Look
fucking
at him.
activating it,
Fucking Thanos right now, bro.
with the freaking world in him
dude. I just activated fucking Super
and the
Saiyan Blue right
glowing
now.
eyes.
Yeah.
Lord Super Saiyan.
fucking Goku mode. Well, what I was gonna say is, for those of you who have seen that video, do you guys?
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I keep seeing it going around, but
Never even.
Okay.
No.
It's just weird. Like it's so perfect. Like it's so perfect the way she plays it, but it's almost like annoying to me because I know that little girl don't know anything about love and letting go of somebody. So like you were saying, it's to me it sounds very robotic, but it's like it's so perfect. So I mean, I don't know what if that's why it doesn't really appeal to me, but I kind of feel like that with Jacob Collier. It's like it sounds so like on point everything that he does, but it's just to me it's so surgical and like it kind of a lot of it kind of lacks. Like you were saying,
this is the thing, dude. I feel like you cannot. I don't feel like you can be taught how to perform. I feel like those kind of things like you kind of already born with, and you kind of like work to better your performing skills. I feel like this girl, G, like she was just born like with a talent. Like she was like one prodigy girl, like one of those prodigy kids.
Yeah,
that or their parents just made
But like
her
the performing aspect,
play.
G, like this is the thing, like getting in front of people and actually perform and like transmit emotions and all of that shit, G. I don't feel like you can be taught that. Not even by going to like a performing arts school or shit like that, dude. I feel like that's something that you already have in, and like you just keep working at it.
I think I know what you're
more
saying.
comfortable.
It's like it's like someone who like just doesn't have it. You know, you can't really teach them to do it unless they really want to. It's like a mutual thing. I think like, you know, at least for me, because like when I first started, my performance things have gone through phases. Like I started when I was like 3 or 4. I liked the idea of being in front of people, but when I actually got up there, I was freaking terrified.
Yeah.
But there was something in me that wanted to keep doing it. And then there were moments where I was like, yeah, I actually want to do this. So, and then eventually it just became like a thing that I just wanted to do. And
yeah,
I never really had like formal training of like, you know, really look at the audience and have them see the emotion in your face. And, you know, I never really had that rigid training. But now I'm at a place where, you know, I'm working with a vocal coach right now, and he's trying to teach me to get more comfortable and relaxed while I am performing, because at least with musical theater, there's a lot of structure to the songs. There's a lot of structure to, I guess, the composition, and you got to perform it as written. You can't really take too much freedom unless you're a freaking celebrity and they rewrite the whole score for you. So there's a lot of rules and things that you need to follow, and then you got to like really know the character. And a big part of that is what I'm working on right now, is just approaching those pieces with enough confidence to really perform and not really worry about being so meticulous about the nuances of all those things, and just really dive into there. And there was a point in time where that was easier for me. But then, like I said, it goes through phases. Like, you know, life happens, your brain goes in different ways, and you kind of got to like work towards different things. So part of it can be taught, but I think what Nigel is saying is you can't really, I guess, like it's harder to start from the ground up versus like when you already have that thing in you. It can only be expanded upon.
Yep.
And no one can really teach you anymore. It's like part of it is a lot of self-discovery.
Whenever I was taking, because I did take classes, you know, I did take like a lot of acting classes and a lot of dance classes, and all the instruction that was given to us, it was just from the technical side. Like, this is the way you do I don't know, dude, like this jazz or this fucking like I don't know, combo, like this dance combo. You need to be like this and blah blah blah. But they don't teach you the performance aspect. That's something that you have to find within yourself. Like that's the main reason why you're going into like these classes and shit. Like you already have the performance aspect in you, so you're just working on your technical side.
Because it's like you can dance, you can do the moves, and you can sing the notes, but there's another aspect to it where you actually feel what you're singing, or you have a certain emotional attachment to the moves that you're doing, or if you know your place in the story and why you're doing those dances.
Yeah, totally.
It's a part of like understanding the story and the world that you're in.
Yeah. That's more like the theater world, right? Like,
yeah, that's more of the theater aspect. But even I see it even like in like other aspects, like, you know, when I watch, I'm going to use Lady Gaga as an example. A lot of her stuff is very theatrical. Like her performances are very theatrical, and I can tell like her dancers are very engaged in whatever alien world she's creating in all of her performances. So it's kind of connected, but like you can
Michael Jackson had that kind of thing
that's how
too.
That's how I feel about Sia too. Like if you look at her performances, you like she's never the main focus of her performances. You like she's always in the back or in the corner or like
going on,
like faded in the background.
Like it's like a piece. Like it's like
she lets like the performance, like the dancers or the vehicles or any like everything else, kind of like take control of the performance piece.
Yeah. In an ideal world, that's what I would want Horsehead to be. Like I kind of wanted that thing to be. Like I see what I wrote for that project as like a theatrical piece.
Dude, tell us because you had a meeting with George Green at the Public Playhouse in San Antonio. How did you pitch in your idea for?
I just told him everything. I just told him like what it was, the truth of it all. Like what do you want me to say?
But, like, did you guys talk about like how it would work on a stage?
Oh yeah, the production stuff. Yeah, we said just fucking projections probably. But
pretty much
nothing
like
much.
What you do in your live concerts.
Wait, what?
Pretty much what you do in your concerts and your gigs. You have the projections and.
Oh well,
honestly, I think with that stuff, I think you could easily.
Video. Oh, there you were.
Oh, we did.
Yeah. You're back.
Yeah, I think you could easily get somebody to like, I guess, like create like custom made backgrounds for that.
Yeah. I mean, I would do the radio play like what we did, just a theatrical version of it.
That'd be cool. That'd be really, really awesome and fun.
Well, that's what I wanted. I didn't really want it to be a band.
fucking Jared in a wheelchair for a little bit and just like,
I'm gonna fuck you up now. No, but what I was trying to say is like, yeah, like at some point, I think the art becomes part of a piece. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I thought Michael Jackson had that. Like I watched the Live at Bucharest thing. Like it seemed like it was like this whole thing that was like bigger than just him, you know?
Yeah, totally.
There was like a whole concept with Michael Jackson. Like he had certain concepts, multiple concepts.
Yeah.
Like each concert had like part 1, part 2, intermission, cool. Part 3, part 4. Like
that's to do with vision and money.
Yeah, and that was something that I think I really connected to. Yeah. When I was a kid,
Lady Gaga's doing the same thing.
Yeah, totally.
Dude, when you're a kid, you think like you know that something is like objectively good. Because I like locked in on that. Like my mom had that on a VHS, and I would watch it like every day.
The Michael Jackson thing?
Yeah, the Bucharest one. I'd watch it every single day and just like look at it. And I think as a kid, you don't know like that it's objectively amazing. But maybe you do, you know, like on some like subconscious level.
Yeah, it's like each kid gets inspired by different things. Like for me, I think what made me want to perform on stage was watching Selena and Amy Grant, like because that's what my mom had in the house.
Cool.
But like now, you know, like watching them, I was like, yeah, like, you know, I think like something in these performances is actually really good.
Yeah. I think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off if you're still talking.
Oh no, I was done.
Cut him off.
Shut up.
I talk
My turn too.
I talk about Selena way too much. So
I'm always down.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, there's like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
4 minutes.
I probably want to finish after this. My fucking head's pounding. But
yeah.
Speaking on those things, and like, I work in like, I teach music, and I also I work with individuals with disabilities, like in college. So like a lot of what we do is like we're focusing on finding out how to help them pursue something, and like also trying to discover new things too. And like I do think that some people have it better than others. Like genetically, there's some shit that's going on, but I also think it's good to make a good point and effort to discover those things too. Like because a lot of people don't have access to like certain things that like fucking people that are working in, I'm just gonna fucking say like construction. Like I bet these motherfuckers are secretly like really fucking talented at some shit and like don't know it. And
like great singers.
yeah.
Or great,
Oh my god.
yeah,
My fucking
dancers.
uncle was like an amazing vocalist, and I thought he was a singer most of my life, and then I like he owns his own irrigation system thing, and like he does like landscapes and shit. But like that I always kind of keep that in mind too. Is like there are people that just can't do shit sometimes. Like it just like a good teacher will help you, but like if you don't have it, like there's nothing you can do. But then there's also people who with the right teacher, with like the right like goal, like
It's like
they'll
a coach.
yeah
Like
I
an
mean
athlete with a
that's
coach, you know.
that's literally what I am. I'm a educational coach for my students. Like when they say I can't do it, and it's like, well, let's try to figure out how we can do it. Like, and
That's that.
dude, it's so
That's really
weird during this quarantine time. Like we're doing all these module trainings, like just shit we already know, but we're like doing them just again, and it's like just thinking about all this to like yeah, like it's to be able to enable someone to like you know like be a songwriter, be a fucking creative, be a performer, be like anything you want in life. Like I think that's the goal.
I think that's dope. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you do this at school? You teach like kids with disabilities music or something else?
No, that's so I teach private lessons. Like that's kind of like my side gig, and then that's hard too because some of those kids like got it and some of those kids don't. Like, and that could be me as a teacher too. Like it's hard to rule them out. Like yeah, they don't got it. Like when a better teacher could probably you know figure that out, help them figure it out. But I also don't know the circumstances in which they wanted to start taking lessons necessarily. But I do
Yeah,
work.
because it's different with everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Like some kids are forced to, and then other kids are like, I want to learn how to do this, and their parents are like, okay.
I
I
have
feel
a
like
feeling
those are
that
like,
little
I
girl
feel like
in that
that's
video was
Chinese
worse.
people, Asian people in general, dude. Like,
That's why. That's why I wasn't even trying to be racist, but that's why I said about that video. That's why I brought up that video because I was like, I feel like instead of piano, they're like, hey, you're gonna learn guitar instead. Like I don't know.
There's this video of a
It's
bunch
cheaper.
of kids playing the guitar in North Korea, and like they're playing the guitar, and everybody's like in the exact same position, dude, and everybody's doing this like with a big smile. They're like singing and playing the guitar.
I feel like I've seen
Yeah.
that.
Like what the
I
fuck?
know
Hey, shit. Real quick, we're down to like just a little bit over a minute. You guys want to wrap up here?
Yeah, let's.
I was
wrap
gonna
up.
say, bro. My idea was to have the person who prompted this select the next person. And
Oh
what
shit.
is that cool with you, Jared?
What?
The next what?
Dude, Jared's like on a
Jared,
breeze.
Jared came up with the idea to talk about songwriting. So my idea was to have Jared pick the next person to select the next idea.
Oh, I
See what I mean? Is that cool with you guys or
Oh, I
what?
see.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. We got less than a minute.
How about you have me pick the next?
Yeah.
How about you have me, Jasper Stone?
Dude, where's that puppet been this whole time, bro?
Yeah.
That's why he's been so
So
quiet all this time.
who's it gonna be? Come on, Jasper. Who's it gonna be?
We're probably done like any second now.
It's gonna be Frank.
Frank!
Oh,
All right.
would I have to choose now or like
No,
later?
just
I'd
whenever.
say take your time.
Wait,
Take
when
your
are we
time.
doing this again?
Stay
When are we
tuned.
meeting again?
Bi-weekly or weekly?
I'm down for. Let's talk. I'm down for. I thought it was bi-weekly, but if we do weekly, like we just talk about it ahead of
I
time.
think it's like yeah. Right
I'm
now
down.
it would be like probably easier.
All right, wrap up thoughts. Love you guys.
Music is dope.
This was
It's
fun.
for everybody. So